Beau Cox joins us along with Steve Merritt. Beau is the Chief Pharmacy Officer of Southern Sky Brands, and Steve Merritt is the COO of the company. Good morning, guys. Are we do have two or one?
We got two. Steve is walking in the building right now, so he'll be coming straight in. So
let me see now. The guy who's going to be here
until then.
The COO is real calm and collective and just straddling in to talk about marijuana. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, there he is. Come on in right here. He's just so much going on. He was so busy this morning finishing up some stuff. So we got him here now, though. So good morning,
Steve. Good morning to you, sir. How are you doing?
How you been? Good to see you.
Can you hear the volume controls are there if they're too loud or whatever it happens to be, so you can get adjusted. And we have some coffee in the kitchen if you guys need it. Where do we start here? First of all, I guess just anybody jump in here. A little update on Southern Sky and where the production and the selling is at this time, because we're to August the 4th. We're getting on.
Yeah, I'll let Steve take it on, but it's exciting. We got clones in on Saturday. The building's not completed, but we brought in.
Wait a minute. Wait. You got what in?
I'm sorry, clones. So for it sounds like it's something fancy, but for all of us who have ever suckered off of some tomato plants where the bud is, and different buds. So you break it off and you just put the branch in the ground, trim the leaves up a little bit, and then they root there. So clones,
it's kind of like grafting, isn't it?
Yes,
in a way.
In a way, yeah. So we got suckers in the ground. We got overseas shipment containers that are fully functional as grows that are out in the parking lot of where the building is going to be. So we still got a little bit of ways to go in the building, but we actually have plants growing in the state of Mississippi, which is very exciting for the state and for Southern Sky.
This?
Up in Canton. Up in Canton across the I-55 from the Nissan plant is where our building is, where the pods are growing, the clones right now. So very exciting this week.
It's above water. You didn't get flooded, did you?
We did not. Yeah.
What is Steve? What's the capacity? Either one of you. What's the capacity of that? How many square footage? What's the square footage?
Basically, roughly 70,000 square feet. We have a two-tier grow, so we'll be able to produce a couple of 100 pounds a week of dried marijuana.
And processed in that form. It's not. That's going to be reprocessed or packaged somewhere later. Or
there's a couple of different ways we'll do it. There's a number of different products we'll do. First, we'll have just the raw marijuana buds that you could smoke, or you could decarbotulate it and then use it in something else if you wanted to use it at home. Or we'll be producing gummies and vape pens, tinctures, things that you can put under your tongue. There's a couple of different ways of actually taking cannabis in. We'll actually have real suppositories. The reason for that is if you have somebody, say, end of life that can't swallow and they're trying to get relief for pain or something, well, you can actually use suppositories. The reason you want to do that is because your body will convert the THC, the molecule that kind of gets you high. It'll actually convert that to hydroxy-11 when you eat it. Your liver converts it. So if you put it under your tongue or use it as a suppository or vape it, you only have it as Delta-9 THC.
I would imagine, Beau, as far as pharmacy is concerned, that is a quick way of getting it into the bloodstream as far as the suppository.
Definitely is.
I guess it would be better than a gummy bear in some cases.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, a lot of the older folks and some people in nursing homes and things that can't swallow, it's definitely a good way of getting it there.
Or if you have some tracheal problems and things such as that, I could understand that.
And Paul, one thing that's exciting about Southern Sky and what we're doing is a lot of the companies that are coming in are not going to be able to do this extraction process. They are simply growing the flower, packaging, and selling the flowers, to where at Southern Sky we're actually going to be able to take and convert these and make these gummies and tinctures, to where a lot of the other companies are not going to be able to do that. They don't have the process. They don't have the equipment.
Here's where the confusion is, because I have a lot of people asking me like I'm a marijuana expert. I have no idea. And the questions are, I don't understand. Some people are growing it. Some people are growing it but not processing it. Some people are growing it but not going to sell it. And so I guess can you kind of explain it? Because you guys are taking it from the plant all the way to the product.
Seed to sale.
And you're going to have some retail outlets as well. Correct. Under the banner of Southern Sky?
No, it will. Our retail outlets will be High Cotton Wellness. High Cotton Wellness will sell Southern Sky brands products. Along with other growers, we hope to be buying product from other growers who will be growing different strains and making different products.
But they have to be in Mississippi, of course.
That's correct. Yes, sir. You cannot transport this across state lines.
Now, before you guys release that, what has to happen, Beau, to the product to be inspected and cleared?
Right. So like you're saying, there's a lot of different people that are doing different things, and there's a permit for each step of the way from growing right. to even transporting and then to selling. And at every step of the way, there's a barcode on each plant. There's a video camera on each plant. Highly regulated, and so the good thing about Southern Sky here is that we are going to have control of these plants from the time we get them all the way till we process them when we process them into gummies. And so right now, I haven't checked lately, but do you know how many applications are on for cultivators and dispensers?
Cultivators right now on the state website has only got like 8 cultivators, I think. They've got 75 or so different dispensaries around the state.
And so back to the inspection. So there has to be a third-party independent inspector that will take and test for the amounts of THC. And one thing about that is a lot of the testing depends on where you get this from the plant. And so the testers are going to be qualified to make sure that they are testing the right parts of the plant to get the right amount of THC of what's going to be going to the public. We are going to actually have our own testing lab in-house, because before it even goes to the testers, we're going to know exactly what amount of THC we have in ours. We still have to send it. They still have to verify it third party. But our goal is to make the highest quality product in the state, so that when people take it, they know exactly what they're getting. Doctors are going to feel comfortable because they're going to know that when they go with a Southern Sky product, it's going to be what it says it is completely.
The other thing the state tests for, though, is pesticides, heavy metals. We'll send it to the third-party lab he's talking about. We'll actually take our product. We'll test it just to make sure it doesn't have any residual, any bad stuff in it whatsoever.
Well, with your own in-house testing, you're going to be able to clear more, have less problems. I can understand that, but still got to go through a third party.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
You said 200 pounds a what?
A week.
A week.
Is that going to be enough?
Is that going to be enough? I mean, is that the max? Or you got another location?
No.
Or you just
that's just starting out. We'll increase production from that. We'll double that within the year as we get better at it. I mean, when you're first starting, you got to commission the building, commission all the different things that you've got in there. I mean, we're building. We're spending basically $40 million on this building. We'll have 8 grow rooms. Each grow room will be completely chopped down every week. One grow room each week. We'll be bringing into market.
To keep that cycle so you have something on the market.
That's correct. And the reason we use mothers and clones like Beau was talking about is you got a repeatable product. We're making medicine, so you want to be able to have that exact same expression of that plant so that you can get the medicine that you're counting on to actually use in the product. So
what happens to that product after you have used it? And it's not like inbreeding, but does it change after you've used it for a long time? Seed to seed, or
not really. No, you can get the exact same genetic. A mother can put off a whole bunch of seeds if you let her go to seeds. If you do that, you can repeat that. But every time you plant a seed, there's a genetic expression that's a little bit different.
Anybody has any other questions? Give them to me as soon as you can at C Spire text line at 601-879-4395. I was going to ask you any proprietary brands that these guys will be doing. We'll ask that more. I did a little studying last night by watching 2 episodes of Belushi Farms.
Yeah.
That was my show prep.
That's awesome.
And it is a heck of a lot more complicated than people think.
It is.
We'll talk about that more coming up next. Live from the Gallo Radio Show, and I thank you from the Trustmark Studios for managing your home mortgage to a home equity line of credit. Trustmark is there and has been for a long time. With people you trust, advice that works, member FDIC. Beau Cox, Chief Pharmacy Officer, and of also Steve Merritt, COO, both of Southern Sky Brands. So where are you now as far as the number of retail outlets and the status of where they are?
We have 2 that we're applying for. One we've already got a license for in Pearl. The other one we're trying to get in Canton. It's not been approved yet. We're just going to start with 2, and then our business plan is mostly to sell wholesale to other distributors and other retailers around the state.
But you will have a retail outlet at the same place?
We're probably going to have 2, maybe even 3.
Yeah.
But our plans are not to do any more than that. Starting out, we can only have 5 legally by law.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because just somebody who's not in the processing part or anything else, the maximum number is 5.
Correct.
And they can have
retail
those
dispensaries.
Retail anywhere in the state, right?
Correct. Well, any state, any place in the state that has opted in.
Well, sure. That would cause a little bit of a problem with the city fathers and mothers, I would imagine.
Yes, we've been Canton has been wonderful for Mayor. Truly has been absolutely a dream to work with. They have really embraced us.
Well, speaking of that, though, Beau, hasn't some of the people who were on the fence and said, no, we're looking at it, they've already changed their minds? So you had more people in the yes column than when you originally started out.
We have, and I think that maybe the 90 days that was in the law was a little too quick because if you didn't opt out, then you could never opt out. And so I think we had a lot of cities that just wanted a little more time to do a little more research, and so they went ahead and opted out because they knew that they could opt back in at any point in time. So I think it was more of just a time frame, wanting to do some research, and you're going to see more and more opt back in.
We had a change of command at the State Department of Health between Dr. Dobbs and now Dr. Edney. Has that caused any problems, or do you have all of the answers that you need from the health department, or are there things there that still need to be worked out? What's the status of that?
So far, they've been great to work with. Chris took over, and she's just been amazing. She's the person that's actually being the point person for us. So they have we gotten everything? No, but it's going to take 5 years to work the program out with all the details. Rule changes is always the unintended consequences whenever you make a law. So it's just going to take a little while.
And then they have this thing every year called the legislative session.
Yeah, they're trying to do some things differently this next session that we know about that I think will be very beneficial.
Well, tell me about that. What are we talking about?
One of the things is I think they would like to regulate more of this stuff that comes from the cannabis plant, like CBD. I don't know if that's going to get done or not, but if we're selling it as a nutritional product, if you're selling it as medicine that you're extracting from the cannabis plant, then my belief is that we ought to regulate it. But my belief is we ought to also have people have the ability to home grow too. So
because on your website here I see CBD balm,
correct,
sour Pinot. Is that it?
That's correct.
An ounce, $99. CBD lotion, citrus, ginger.
Correct.
Well, if it's CBD oil, it's already legal to sell without any restrictions, is it not?
That is correct. I just think it needs to be regulated. Well, I think the federal government ought to regulate it. I think there ought to be. There's no COAs attached to that. There's no requirement to have.
So
that.
You don't know how much you're getting in there or anything. It's just labeled, and you
hope they're telling you the truth.
Risk.
Correct.
But.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you from a pharmacy standpoint, Steve, CBD is a very effective product, and I think that as we get into this, a lot of people take the term CBD and THC and interchange them, and they're just two completely different compounds that happen to be from the same plant. And we've already started promoting our CBD line, and there's a lot of people, my personal family members, that have had ankle swelling, ankle problems. They go to the gym and work out, and their ankle hurts them. And you can take this CBD balm or lotion, and it really helps. It's anecdotally right now with my friends, but it helps them. It helps the joints. And I think you're going to see a lot of people that aren't going to have to go necessarily to THC, because if they will try the CBD, they're going to find relief with sleep, with joint pain, without having to go the THC route.
Tell me how if physically that works. Let's just take the ball.
Yeah, the entire endocannabinoid system in our body that is still being developed, or that we're still learning about. Just the way that the CBD, the THC hits these receptors, similar to other pain relief medications. Anytime you stub your toe, it's sending that electrical neurochemical impulse from the toe to the brain, and you get the pain sensation. And so what this is allowing in the neurons, it is blocking some of these pain sensations to keep you from feeling that pain.
I got it. Steve, if Beau, if I could get you to move just a little closer to the microphone there.
All right.
Just to the left a little bit.
Got it.
I do want to ask you, how's that different from, let's say, a Bengay? It doesn't do it through a heat transformation, right?
Right. Yeah. It's going to be a different mechanism there of the Bengay products. What they're really doing more is with the vasodilation of the arteries and veins around a point to be able to get more blood flow to get relief faster. And so,
yeah, is there any data on the lastability of that? I mean, you could put some Bengay on and it works for a few minutes, but is there any data that we have on that? How long that lasts?
Back to everything with CBD and THC, Paul, with it being a C1 for so long, and with us just now getting CBD to where you could buy it, there is so much data that is anecdotal. We haven't done the double-blind placebo studies on, and one of the most exciting things about me working with Southern Sky is we are looking at starting doing these 75 to 100 patient studies. We're hoping that we're going to be able to do it with Ole Miss. We've been in talks with the School of Pharmacy up there doing these studies so that we can have hard data to say if you rub X milligrams of CBD or THC on a hurting joint, what are people showing relief as? How long does it last? We need the information, and that's the biggest thing that I'm hoping comes out of Southern Sky is the information.
I got to tell you, it's the one thing that worries me through this whole thing is the interaction with existing medicines that you're taking.
Oh, good point.
Yeah,
and it worries me, and I'm glad we got a pharmacy guy on here.
Well, Paul, can I speak to that? Because so far we're the only people that have hired a pharmacy guy, and we've known Beau, and we got to be good friends, and we started listening to him. The biggest problem I think in this, and I think you're exactly right, part of the regulations ought to be able to have a pharmacist involved. I think we don't know all the drug interactions. There's 120 known cannabinoids in the plant compounds. Well, we only know what 12 of them do and what those interactions with our system are. So I think it's really imperative that we have people like Beau that can speak to the interactions with other drugs that they're taking.
And even more so when you start talking about younger and younger people taking this. If they've got some ailments that the doctor says you need to try this, but you got to go through the doctor. But I'm afraid as time goes on, some people will just not even talk to the pharmacist about that, and that's a little bit scary. I do want to mention this, though. So you guys have developed a line of things, such as the apparel wear, T-shirts and stuff like that. So even if you don't have a medical marijuana card, you could come into the retail outlet and shop.
No. Now, if you come into our retail dispensary store, you have to be 21. You have to have a card from the state of Mississippi.
So you cannot enter without a card.
That's correct. So you got to be 21, and you have to have a card, or you got to be a caregiver for that patient to be able to help them
to enter the store. I'm glad we cleared that up because somebody was asking me.
That's correct
for the CBD or the paraphernalia.
Now the CBD we can sell in other shops. We're going to probably be selling those in pharmacies. We're reaching out to pharmacists now to put our CBD line in pharmacies, but we're also. But we're selling it as medicine, and we want people to go to their pharmacist and talk about the interactions if they're on any other medications. I think it's imperative that people do that.
Real quick question here. I ask about proprietary plants in the future. Are some people going to have their own strands or whatever?
Yes.
And have you guys?
We will absolutely do that, 100%. We'll name a strain after you.
Can I think about that for a second?
Absolutely. You can help us name it.
Hey, I just watched the Morgan Freeman new movie last night where I had a chance to do the news guy on the radio in the rig. And I just posted that on Twitter.
That's awesome.
So it'll be two famous things. That's enough for me. I can quit now. Hey guys, thank you. I appreciate it so very much.
Thank you, Paul.
Always.